So I want to be honest with you all and start this episode with something very personal. At the end of 2024 and into the beginning of 2025, I found myself really struggling with finding purpose. I woke up every day feeling like I was in a fog, almost like the world around me was moving, but I was stuck, barely existing. It wasn't like I didn't have anything going on in my life. I had friends, I had family. I was doing what I love for work. All of the pieces looked right, but internally something just wasn't clicking. I was plagued by these terrifying nightmares. They weren't just regular bad dreams, they were vivid, anxiety-inducing scenarios that left me waking up in a panic. I remember feeling utterly lost when I opened my eyes each morning. Like I didn't even recognize myself. There was no direction, no sense of why I was doing what I was doing. Just emptiness and fear. I found myself craving the presence of others. It wasn't even about wanting to be with people, because I genuinely wanted to connect. I just wanted company. Anyone to fill that void that I was feeling. I thought that having people around me would somehow make me feel better, make me feel less alone. But what I learned along the way was that no amount of socializing, no matter how much I surrounded myself with others, could fill the space inside. What I was really missing was not company, it was purpose. And as soon as I started to realize that, things started to shift. I'm sharing this because I know I'm not alone in feeling this way. A lot of people find themselves in similar situations, feeling like they're going through the motions, surrounded by people, but still deeply disconnected and lost. And it's not about needing a bunch of friends or acquaintances to feel better. It's about finding meaning in your own life. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. How purpose can help us overcome not just the feeling of being lost, but also the loneliness that comes with it. So what is purpose? It's often painted as something huge and life-changing, building a legacy or changing the world. And that's why it can also become quite overwhelming thinking about our purpose. In reality, purpose can take many shapes. It can be as monumental as pursuing a career in medicine, saving lives, or as simple as being a dedicated parent, an advocate for change, or even someone who helps a neighbor regularly. Purpose is individual. Think about it. Your purpose doesn't have to match everyone else's. It's about finding meaning in your life based on your interests, values, and beliefs. Sometimes purpose comes in small pieces. It's not always about one big epiphany, but a series of aha moments. A bit of this and a bit of that until one day you wake up and realize you're doing things for a reason that feels right. We all know that loneliness isn't just being physically alone. It's a profound feeling of emotional isolation. It's when you feel disconnected from others, like no one truly understands you, or even notices you, like no one is there for you. The sense of disconnection can feel all-consuming. There's emotional loneliness, which occurs when we don't feel deep connections with others, and social loneliness, which is the feeling of not having a wide social circle or group to belong to. Both of these forms can feed into each other, but neither one depends on being physically alone. I'm sure everyone can relate to having been to a party or a gathering where it seems like everyone else was having a good time, but you still felt out of place. That's social loneliness. Even when surrounded by people, the emotional connection is lacking. When you don't feel connected to others, that sense of emptiness can make life feel so much more daunting. And when we feel that way, it's hard to see a way out. Purpose is one of the most effective antidotes to loneliness. It connects us to something beyond ourselves, something much larger. When you have a sense of meaning, loneliness doesn't feel so threatening. It feels like you have something to lean on. Purpose is like filling an emotional void. When we feel disconnected from the world, purpose reminds us that we matter. It gives us a reason to keep going. It can give you that emotional anchor, so when loneliness strikes, it's not as overwhelming. Imagine an artist who paints because it brings them joy and a sense of achievement. They may spend hours alone, but their connection to their art fulfills them. That purpose provides a sense of belonging, even in solitude. A study by Berkeley found that people who reported a strong sense of purpose had significantly lower levels of loneliness, especially in later life. Something very interesting, purpose activates the brain's reward system, which increases dopamine levels. And dopamine, as you may know, is associated with motivation, pleasure, and happiness. This helps combat the empty feeling associated with loneliness and replaces it with a sense of fulfillment. So, how to find your purpose? To start, ask yourself these questions. What makes me feel truly alive? When do I feel most at peace with myself? What do I value most? How do I want to contribute to the world? These are powerful starting points. Journaling helps, writing down your thoughts. Creating patterns. Even if you have no clue what you like or what you want to do in life, you'll soon start to notice the patterns. Experiment. Purpose is rarely found in sitting still and thinking about it. You might have to explore different activities and passions to see what resonates with you. If you're unsure, try taking on new activities like learning a new skill, cooking, baking, painting, yoga, volunteering, or starting a side project. Sometimes purpose is found through action, and not just contemplation. Purpose doesn't need to be found in one grand move. Start small. Perhaps it's setting a goal to be more mindful, or deciding to read more books that inspire you. These small changes can lead to larger, purpose-driven shifts in your life. A study of Psychology Today showed that people who volunteer their time to help others report feeling more fulfilled, less lonely, and more connected to their purpose. Helping others might sound simple, but it's a powerful way to combat loneliness and find meaning in life. When you're connected to a larger sense of purpose, loneliness doesn't have the same power over you. It doesn't mean you won't feel lonely at times, but when you have purpose, those feelings are temporary and manageable. You're more resilient. Try to identify what gives you meaning. Journal, as I said. Write things down that matter to you. Even the smallest things. Engage with purpose-driven communities. Look for groups that align with your values and passions. When you connect with others who share your purpose, it deepens the sense of belonging. Work on personal growth. Create a routine that nurtures your purpose. Whether it's writing, art, or exercise, having a structure can help prevent isolation from taking over. I challenge you to spend more time reflecting on your own purpose this week. It doesn't have to be huge. It could be something simple like connecting with a loved one or dedicating time to something that excites you. Small steps lead to big shifts. Thanks for listening. I hope this episode gives you the tools you need to find your own sense of purpose and overcome loneliness. If this resonated with you, please share it with someone who might want to hear it. Subscribe. Until next time.